As a kid growing up in a large household, I have really fond memories of Ganesh Chaturthi. The food, the decorations, the clothes. Who am I kidding? It was mostly the food. About 20 years ago, I was on my first international trip, and that took me to Japan. And before I went out of Japan, I was reading about what kind of gifts I could give them, because I'd heard about the gifting culture was huge in Japan. And somebody in my office said, we could give them small idols of Ganesha. I said, fantastic. I dispatched somebody, they came back with idols of Ganesha, and little did I know that the elephant-headed one was determined to be a part of my journey even before I landed at the Narita airport in Tokyo. So on board, there I am, suitably inebriated, and I was filling up the disembarkation form, and another gentleman comes up to me and says, "Sir, can you help me fill up my form as well?" I said, "Sure." And I asked him what was his occupation, and he said, "Sir, मैं माहूत हूँ." I said, "Well, that's interesting. आप क्यों जा रहे हो Japan?" He said, "मैं हाथी को लेके जा रहा हूँ साहब." So it turned out to be India's gift to the Hokkaido Zoo. It was a gift to Tokyo, and so far so bizarre. And that evening when we landed at the Narita airport, I saw a huge amount of press entourage come and collect my friend, and we said our byes, and I went on my way to the hotel. The next morning, our first presentation was at this huge Japanese corporate, and me and my colleague, we went in, we met all of them in a huge conference room. I got up, I finished my presentation, and when I sat down and I opened my laptop bag, everything started unraveling really at a very, very fast pace. All the tiny idols of Ganesha that I had went rolling all over the floor. And you should see, the commotion that was caused. All of them started jumping up and down, especially the women. And, it must have been a very funny sight for them to look at an image of, look at an idol of a man with the face of an elephant, with a serpent around his tummy, and sitting on top of a mouse. But what followed after that was absolutely wonderful. It was 20 minutes spent on stories about Lord Ganesha. And I realized at the end of it, I was no longer a gaijin. I was no longer an outsider. I'd really like to think about 20 years ago, Lord Ganesh helped me in a very distant land in more ways than one.